Alright, hello. I'm going to do a Noctica Savior deep dive, and I am almost certain I'm going to botch this. I've been procrastinating and it's time to stop procrastinating. But yes, my perfectionism, I wanted to plan this video better, but I never got around to planning. So I'm just going to be winging it. Things could go wrong because family are home. I have dog who should be napping, but I forgot to bring my headphones in the room. And then he woke up, and now I've had to bribe him with a shark cartilage, and I don't know if he'll nap after that, so we'll see how this goes. Before I get into anything else, though, I just want to mention, for those of you who don't know, because I assume it'll be mostly Noctica fans who end up here by accident, and I'm sorry you found me. But yeah, Noctica currently has fun stuff in the online store. This one is the most fun for the upcoming Dysphoria EP. This is the one that I have purchased or pre-ordered, and it just I like when artists do this fun kind of stuff. There's even going to be a book. Yes, have a look at that. And then there's other stuff. I think it's all pre-order, so once this stuff is gone, you can't get it. So when do you have? You have until the 10th of August. So it's tough for artists. Be supportive, blah blah. If you're into that, if you can afford it, whatever. Okay, but no, we're gonna look at, I'm just messing up OBS because of course I am. I meant to press this thing and get a nice fade. Anyway, and then fade in this one. So we're looking at Savior by Noctica, and this is the first song from Noctica that really made me go, hey, I like this artist. And there's a lot of stuff that I find relatable, but I think might be surprising. So before I get into it, I think I need some disclaimers. First is this is very much my interpretation. It's going to be about me. It's not so much about Noctica's journey. Another thing is I'm not trans. This is a trans artist. I've had the mildest gender dysphoria, but I'm doing okay these days. And, nowhere near understanding that. Also, while I am asexual, I wrote a whole EP about being asexual, but it was kind of cynically to get through a uni assignment. I mean, it's all genuine, but I didn't write it to be a spokesperson for asexuality, and I also don't really feel like I'm part of the LGBT community. So just a little thing there. I mean, I'm probably going to get things wrong as well. I'm mostly going to be talking about me, but there will be some things about gender that inevitably come up, I imagine. So please forgive me if I'm not hip with all the lingo and how to talk about things respectfully. I will try. Speaking of, because I don't know who's going to come across this. Yes, trans artist. Okay, let's not make too much of a big deal, and please don't argue in the comments about gender, all the culture wars and stuff. I am just too tired to moderate all that, so I don't know, maybe I'll set the comments on this one to go through me before anyone can see them. I'll approve them. I don't usually do that on my channel, but I just am too tired for drama. This one has been frustrating me today. Look, he's almost finished it. Yeah. My whole life is dog, and part of my reason for wanting to do this video is because, watching Noctica's newer one, the Trauma release, and there was another artist who released stuff, Cyrus. It got me doing some music for a bit, but then I've gone back into dog mum mode, and I'm trying to, get myself to do music again. So let's look at some music that I like. But, I did comment, I think, on the making of the Trauma video, because someone had commented about how Noctica, yes, they're a trans artist, but their stuff is probably going to be enjoyed by people who are not trans, and I replied saying, yes, I am not trans, and I can read my own things into it, and I enjoy it. And then also got a reply from Noctica saying, yes, do the deep dive, because that would be interesting to see how a non-trans person gets value out of a trans person's art. Yeah, and so one thing before I even start that I like about Noctica is yeah, we mention words like dysphoria, but dysphoria, I'll get up. I've got the lyrics, but you know, she's done it in a way where, yeah, you can read it as trans, but you can also read it as other issues because there's so much going on. So this could be a long video pending troublemaker. But yeah, it's kind of like what I did with my asexuality EP in some ways, where like, it's not like, yes, my EP was about asexuality, but I never actually mentioned asexuality in there for good reason, because, you know, it's hard to, one of the reasons I didn't like the ace community and I'm not really part of it these days is because you can't really talk about asexuality without talking about everything that it's not, and that's not what I want to focus my attention on. Like, it's kind of this weird paradox. So none of my music actually mentions the word asexuality. It's just the title of the EP, and that's it. So everything is done in language that you can interpret however you want, apply it to you however you want. And I think that's what Noctica has done really well in this song, and, you know, some of the other, I mean, I haven't listened as closely to the others, but like, you know, trauma. A lot of people have been through trauma, and it doesn't have to be specific to gender issues. I hope that's all the disclaimers that I meant to cover, but if I think of things, this could be oh my god, it's been 6 minutes and I haven't even gotten started. So let's just get into it. Oh, the other thing is, I'm going to sing along. You're not going to hear the actual audio of Noctica. I mean, part of it, yeah, copyright, but also part of it is, I think instead of watching me do start, stop, and having to listen to the song in pieces, I think you should, like, if you haven't seen it already, pause the video, go and watch it, like, start to finish on Noctica's channel, or do it after this video. Watch the whole thing start to finish without my interruptions. So you get what the song's about, instead of me just rambling about myself, which is what this essentially is. And my terrible singing, because I have not been practicing, I am not warmed up, I am tired as heck, but, you know, I'll sing along just so that we can get some of the lyrics, and there are some vocal techniques that are kind of fun, but yeah, I apologize in advance for my terrible singing. I know, I keep saying just get into it already. I guess I'll have to put timestamps into this, but this is like one of those songs that I like it enough that I kind of want to cover it at some point. Now, Noctica does have instrumentals, but I don't know, I should probably ask before I try and use any of them. And then I always get into this sort of thing of like, should I cover it using the artist's own instruments, or should I put my own spin on it? But then I never put my own spin on it because I just, you know, I procrastinate a lot of stuff. I get perfectionist, and, you know, if I'm going to recreate someone's entire song, why don't I write my own song instead? So yeah, if I had recorded a cover, I could have just played over this, but no, I'm just going to be singing. That's why I have headphones on, so that you can't actually hear from here. You have to go to Noctica's channel and watch it, give it more views, give it more streams, whatever. Alright. So, and I'm going to try not to mess up OBS, and hopefully YouTube won't give us ads. But let's go. So, do, dee, dee, dee. Na, 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 na. Okay, I love that. Okay, so I will talk about some music stuff, not just my psychology. Most of this will be psychology, but I like, there's, like, this video is so well done, and I think, so Noctica is also a filmmaker and does a lot of her own stuff. There's good production. So if you've heard my music, I'm kind of basic in how I produce it. My asexuality EP was mixed by a friend. My single, The Truth, was mixed by me and very lazily, and I just tried not to be a perfectionist just to release it, and that's probably how I'm going to do things. See, he's finished. Oh, I hope he goes, no, he's going to have a drink. I hope he goes and has a nap. Anyway, no, I like the start of this video, you've got the flashes of lightning, and then there's this sort of like echoey thing which has one of the key lines that I like in it. You should go and have a listen. And then when the beat sort of bang, it's like wake up, kind of. Uh-oh. Oh no, he's looking at my shoes. We've just been to the beach, so I may have to pause and settle him. I mean, how much crazier can this video get hello. Hang on, let me just move that so he can be part of the, you want to be part of the video. All right, mate. Let's go. So, yeah, I'll jump around. Uh-oh. I'm already messing up OBS. That, what did that look like? Oh no, I don't even know how. No, actually, it's figuring itself out. I wonder if I can, well that's still, no, it doesn't. It was worth a shot. Alright, if I'm moving it around, is that messing it up? Yeah, I'll just, sorry. Okay, so straight away we've got religious imagery. And so I don't know anything really about Noctica's history. I know she's from like Tamworth, which isn't exactly, doesn't give you like, I don't know, heaps open vibes, but I don't really know much about it. Anyway, religion, I was raised Catholic, so straight away I'm like, oh shit. And yeah, raised Catholic, went to a Catholic private girls' school for 13 years. Nope, he's still hanging around. That's just gonna be incredibly distracting. Yeah, and people thought I was religious. I was just quiet and not a troublemaker. Should we hold that thought and I'll go and settle him down? Oh my goodness. He's such a... Triton, go and have a nap. You haven't napped enough today. You're gonna be cranky. Dog mum life. Anyway, religion, and I've been through this whole thing also, like, I did not become an atheist of my own free will. It messed me up quite a lot, because, you know, life had purpose and then suddenly it didn't. As I think more about... Sorry, I'm gonna go and settle him. Let's hold that thought. Alright, I think we're good. Oh man, took a while to settle him. He's so in denial of how tired he is. He's like trying to keep his head up as his eyes are closing. Oh my god. Anyway, where were we? Religion. Yeah, Catholic, childhood. I think I was like, I took it seriously as a kid. I was even like, you know, in my little flowery dress, reading out what the Gospels at the kids' mass or something, and like, you know, but I mean, big ego, if you got to hold the book, that was like, you're the center of everything, so I probably had other motives there. But yeah, becoming an atheist was really hard for me because I just had no purpose in life. But now that I know more about my mental illness, hi, if you don't know me, I have Schizoid Personality Disorder, depression, and possibly a dissociative problem. Possibly, I say possibly because I'm still in denial, but it's probably a thing. Yeah, no, so as I've come to understand more about my mental illness and how I got here, suddenly not having a god, sorry, there's just noise around my place, suddenly not having a god, I think I projected some of my feelings of abandonment from my parents onto God then, and so I did not cope well with atheism. I know it's freeing for a lot of people. That was not my experience. Anyway, so this one's called Savior, and it's got crosses in it, like in the first, 13 seconds we're up to. Of course I'm going to be like, hey, themes I find relatable. And we haven't even really got to any trans stuff. And then we've stopped on this still of Noctica. This outfit's cool, this whole setup is cool. I watched the making of as well, and I'm just like, that looks like fun. If I could just get my shit together, I should make some music videos, but unfortunately, I've got to finish making my next track, and I've been procrastinating re-recording the vocals. Anyway, where are we up to? Okay, the mirror thing. We're up to the mirror thing. So this is like, you know, I literally just said the dissociation stuff and I'm in denial, but I have this thing where looking in the mirror and I'm like, And like, you know, that's probably one of the tricky things about becoming a YouTuber is just getting used to my face. And I actually find it hard to watch my old videos, especially if they're older. Like the older a video is, the harder it is for me to watch it because my brain has like disconnected from that version of me. But yeah, I also have this real-time issue sometimes of looking in the mirror, and we're gonna see some fun stuff. So one of the reasons I also procrastinated on this video is talking about some of the dissociation, sense of self issues that I have. It's kind of a sensitive topic for me. I'm not sure how deep I'll go. But yeah, this is already relatable and it has nothing to do with gender for me. I mean, you know, maybe you could argue some gender stuff when I was younger, but yeah, anyway, the mirror thing. I don't know if you saw like the flashing between the different versions of Noctica. And so I don't know a huge amount about her story. I know she was like the lead singer in, I think, a metalcore band, Traces. I sort of was vaguely aware of them, but I don't think I ever caught a show because I was probably not in that particular scene, or maybe I was late. I've been depressed so long I can't even keep track of time. But so, I suppose for those who don't know, like obviously male to female, and I think this video was filmed fairly early in her coming out and transition. And so there's like, you know, it's tricky for me because like I really like androgyny. So, you know, not really conforming to anything to do with gender, and so I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I'm sort of taking like the two different versions in Noctica of this. To me, are like they both have this androgynous vibe that I really like, but one is slightly more masculine and one is slightly more feminine. And then in the mirror, you'll see some more flashes of this because it gets quite intense. But like between the masculine and feminine things, beyond that as well, though, like one has like very either no makeup or natural makeup. That's the more masculine one, and then the more feminine one has like really epic makeup. Like this is beyond my skill level. I know I haven't been doing makeup long, but I'm just like there. I really like the way Noctica does makeup. But yeah, let's keep going. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, I'll sing a bit. Didn't know who I was before. It's a feeling I can't ignore. When the rain starts to pour, I just try to ignore the dysphoria. Okay. I'm not very good at the like falsetto switch. My natural singing voice is like... Actually, so this would be the interesting thing about doing a cover, because my voice is completely opposite to Noctica. So Noctica has more of that, like, well, the metalcore vibe of, like, the rock cleans and the fry screams, whereas I have more of a, like, semi-classical mixed... That's where my voice naturally feels the best. I'm better at the rock stuff than I used to be, but it's not where I naturally want to sing. And then so, and, you know, my screams or growls are like false chords, so opposite technique. But like with the falsetto, trying to get that airy sound I find difficult, and I can't hear myself in these headphones, so I have no idea what that sounded like. Anyway, great vocal control. If you watch her original. Now, I think like being a trans artist early in your transition and a singer, that's difficult because the voice, especially from male to female, is like such a difficult thing. But like amazing vocal control, and there is one song that Noctica's put out where that has like a female sounding vocal in it, like natural female sounding, and it actually is Noctica. So, but you know, I can imagine trying to sing a whole song would be very straining on your voice. But yeah. Anyway, that's just a little thing, and so an apology for my own singing trying to approximate. But so, the lyrics, didn't know who I was before, it's a feeling I can't ignore when the rain starts to pour, I just try to ignore the dysphoria. Now, the word dysphoria comes up, that it's not specific to gender though, it's just dysphoria. Dysphoria as a word, it's the opposite of euphoria. It's like, there's like a horrible feeling. So, by not specifying what type of dysphoria, that makes this much more applicable to more than just gender dysphoria. And you can have dysphoria about all kinds of things. It's kind of a vague term, honestly. And so that's one of the things, like when they changed it from gender identity disorder to gender dysphoria, I feel like they took away some of the feeling of seriousness. And that's why some people sort of don't, they can be quite cruel about it these days. When I think like it's obviously quite a difficult condition to have to deal with. Anyway, that's just me discussing words, and words aren't that important. You get what it means. But yeah, dysphoria. But so didn't know who I was before. Like the very first lyric has to do with identity, right? And so identity is what I'm personally like, just my sense of self. Whew, didn't know who I was before. I've had that. I mean, I suppose also being schizoid, having a weak sense of self, that's just like this ongoing issue. I should put the lyrics on the other side so that it looks like I'm actually looking at the video. Feeling I can't ignore, yeah, especially when the dissociation stuff pops up. Like I've tried to convince myself that I'm just bullshitting, I'm just making up things, but it comes with some very strong feelings, and as much as I can try and be in denial and try not to go there, it's a thing. The rain starts to pour, bit of a metaphor, try to ignore the dysphoria. Okay, and I think this is where we get a bit more reflection stuff. So let me just rewind a bit so I can catch up with the lyrics and sing you a bit more. Rhea and I take a look at my reflection, turn away and start regressing to a place where I feel safe, a world without human connection. My skin don't feel like home, self-destruction takes control, and I don't wanna be alone, but it feels like I was doomed to know. I can't do like screams. Anyway, that doomed to know starts to get a bit screamy, but there's a bit of distortion on it, so I'm not sure if it's an actual scream or like just the distorted vocal. Anyway, never mind audio nerd stuff. So where are we up to? Take a look at my reflection, and I wasn't even watching properly because I'm too busy looking at the lyrics to make sure I don't screw it up. Let's just go back and do it again so I'm actually paying attention. Oh my god, I went too far. Alright, so now we've got more of the flashes between the different versions. Now, there's like one bit. There it was. Let me just go back a few frames. So I don't know how much you guys are picking up because I haven't told you what's significant to me, but like we've got this reflection thing and the flashing between different versions. And I know for me, so I mean, like the way I am now, I'm in lazy clothes. And there have been times in my life where I've been so depressed and not taking care of myself that I have been mistaken for a dude. Now that, this is where my experience of dysphoria, is like a gender dysphoria type thing, gets a little bit weird because I don't care how someone interprets me. And so sometimes people apologize when they realize I'm a chick, and that doesn't bother me. But maybe then because I did kind of want to be a dude when I was younger, maybe that's why it doesn't bother me, because it's in the direction I was hoping to go and never ended up. But anyway, so when I've been super depressed, I've sort of come across as a bit of a dude. And, when I'm like today, where I'm just like in lazy mode now, today has already been too much. Every day is too much. But I'm at that stage where I'm just like, shit, and I've already had my cup of tea and there's nothing left. And anyway, so that's like standard me not doing too well. But then if I can be bothered to dress up and like polish up, I tend to look more feminine, which isn't necessarily my goal, but I think that's just what happens when I do tend to prefer wearing more masculine clothes, like pants and sort of a more punk, like Harajuku punk style. But, with the way that gothic clothes are, it does lean towards, like it sort of favors femininity. I guess because, females are more likely to buy a lot of fashion, so a lot of it ends up being like that. But yeah, when I polish myself up, I look feminine, and it's kind of like there's that kind of thing going on here. So doesn't have to be a gender dysphoria thing. It's like me feeling like not coping with life. I tend to come across as slightly more masculine as far as I can, as someone who just, I don't know, I mean, I'm pretty flat chested. I can pull it off with a bit of baggy shirts and whatever. But yeah, when I polish up, then I look more feminine, and there's that. But the other thing is, so I also, like, I don't really know where Noctica's philosophy is, but so the sort of like me right now being low energy, that's like standard me polished, and like one of the reasons I got into gothic fashion has to do with the other part of me, which I sort of term like a sort of dark side, and I've been coming across more theories about that. It might not be a DID thing. I'm still trying to figure out ways that I don't have a DID-like condition. I could still be in denial, but I think I've been coming up with more that perhaps explains it in a way that I'll find less confronting. Anyway, so like a lot of my creativity comes from that dark side. That's not like how I naturally see myself. And so music, fashion, and like polishing myself up, it tends to be like that. And so when you also see the feminine version of Noctica, you've got these amazing nails. I've tried to do pointed nails, not with like acrylics, but just like letting my nails grow and then sort of trimming it into a little bit of a point. And I did that for a while, and it's just so hard to live like that and having long nails, trying to type. When I was younger and I played violin, my teacher said, you have to choose between either long nails or violin, and I chose violin. And so now I feel weird if I let my nails grow. Anyway, I'm sort of jealous of that, like how people can handle having long nails and that pointy nails, but it looks amazing, like these claws. And so that part of me, that darker part of me, is like, fuck yeah, claws. But then we get these flashes to the more masculine version, and there's no claws, and it's just sort of like looking at your hands, and it's like there's just something that doesn't feel right. But there's also this flip side of like, when you've switched into that darker mode, like, what have I done? I don't want to talk about some of the situations that this sort of dissociated dark stuff has gotten me into, because there are things that I haven't told my therapist yet about how I could have gotten into a lot of trouble and some of the reasons that I am uncomfortable with that part of me. But anyway, like, whew, holy shit. So there's some of that. Now, I don't know what Noctica's experience is, but that's my reading is that, oh boy. Anyway, back to some of the lyrics. So yeah, take a look at my reflection, turn away and start regressing. When the dissociation flares up, I do struggle to look at my reflection. Yeah, anyway. Now, some of this I find a little bit harder because regressing to a place where I feel safe, a world without human connection. Now, as a schizoid, I don't have a conscious feeling of people being unsafe. Like, I know in theory, supposedly we don't socialize because we see other people as unsafe. But like, what does unsafe mean? Like, maybe emotionally unsafe, and that's why we cut off from the emotions and just don't feel like we need people. I'm trying to challenge that in myself, but it's hard because people are so disappointing and constantly let me down, so why should I? And I guess that means they're not safe, and so a world without human connection? Why not? I was happy when COVID happened because suddenly that's how I wanted to live my life, is not going out into the world, having to socially isolate. That's my vibe. Now, I think it damaged me in other ways because I lost my ability to like function in the normal world. I got out of practice, but while we were all locked down, I was pretty happy. Anyway, my skin don't feel like home. Yep. Self-destruction takes control. Self-destruction, well, that part of me is more outward destruction. My channel is called DestroyerMariko for a reason. But self-destruction, I mean, see, this is where we get into more of the depression stuff, because I have had how do I say it in a YouTube friendly way? I've had thoughts of not wanting to be here, but I can't. I once tried to poke myself with a sewing needle just to see if I could do it, and I can't. I'm too squeamish, so haven't even gone that far. But I guess self-sabotage as well, that's probably a thing. I'm going nowhere in music myself because I just can't keep up with it. And anyway, burnout's a bitch. And I don't want to be alone, but it feels like I was doomed to know. Now that I don't want to be alone, that's hard as a schizoid as well. But, so with the dissociation stuff, I've often felt like that darker part of me is the only reason I am still alive and the only reason I do much at all. So sometimes I'm like, I don't want to be alone in my own head. Sometimes I would rather be that other version of me, have that just take control of stuff. Because I remember a very long time not wanting to be here, but that part of me wanted to be here. And so I was just like, okay, I will try and make my life fit around this version of me, like find an acceptable outlet, because it's got a lot of ideas that are not acceptable. I'll find an acceptable outlet for it. And so that's how I tried art. The first time I tried art didn't go so well. So then I did music, and I think music worked better for me because you can create a character in a socially acceptable way that still expresses some of that stuff. And you can call it a performance. Now, I've never gotten to a stage of performing music as that version of me, because it's actually very hard for me to let go and give that version of me enough rope to do what it wants to do without me putting the brakes on everything constantly. I know I sound like a crazy person, but that's just how it is. So I've tried to find ways in music to do stuff. I can't let go enough. The other thing is with music, you have to construct the music and rehearse it. And so I think that's a little bit too controlled for that version of me. Like, it has impulsive shit going on. And I'm like, you can't do that impulsive shit. Anyway, so I don't want to be alone. For me, it's not in a social sense. It's in an internal sense of I don't want to be living this life. So if there's another version of me that does want to do something in the world we're stuck in, why can't it do stuff? But no, apparently most of the time I'm just stuck in depressed version of me. And I'm too nervous to let go and do, there was a period of time where I was letting more of that version of me do stuff, and I just can't go there anymore. I'm sort of, things happened that made me think I can't go that way again. I'm sorry to sort of be vague, but I'm not ready to talk about some of the things that went on when I was off YouTube and in the real world. Up to no good. Anyway, okay, so I think that's sort of the first verse. We might be coming to a or is this the chorus next? Sorry, I know this is going to take forever. So we got the hands. I just think this is really well done. And yeah, I think the first time I watched it, it sort of triggered a lot of recognition for me, even though it may not be what the artist intended. It's holy shit. I'm very susceptible to dualities, I guess. Anyway. I don't wanna be alone, but it feels like I was doomed to know. I don't think I'm ever getting better, and I won't escape this hell. I'm just so tired of wasting my life chasing heaven. Depression's got me running from the person who could save me from myself. Oh, that chorus, that chorus really got me. Let me try and find a more interesting... Yeah, sorry, I won't put it on random screen. Okay, so the chorus, I'm just shit, that's... So, there's so much in this song. It's not just dissociation. This is where the depression comes in. I don't think I'm ever getting better. How long have I been in therapy for? So when I quit uni... The first time I quit uni, because I've dropped out of uni so many times, that would have been 2007. What year is it? 2024. How much is that? 17 years? But I was depressed in high school, so maybe 2002, 2003-ish. So it's like 20 years of conscious like suffering. Like there've been good times, but the bad times definitely outweigh the good for me, which sucks because a lot of therapy is like, oh no, your brain is tricking you into seeing all the shit stuff. And I'm like, no, I've lived long enough with this to now see that most of my life has been horrible. And I don't think I'm ever getting better. I spent a lot of time in therapy for depression before I knew about schizoid, and it just didn't work. I can't take, because, you know, regular depression, and schizoid depression are very different in how we experience things and the problems that we have. A lot of regular depression is people worried that they're a burden to society or whatever. They think they're down on themselves. Whereas schizoid depression, as far as I know, because it's hard to get a survey of schizoids because they don't really come out of the woodwork very often. But it seems to be more that schizoids are down on the world, and the world is what's shit. We're fine. The world is terrible. So when people try and do regular depression therapy on someone who's schizoid, and they're trying to like, I mean, one of my therapists said shit like happy people live longer and told me I just need more friends, and I'm like, I don't find that helpful or relatable at all. And then like I had another therapist, the one who pushed me to be in a toxic relationship and stay in the toxic relationship. She didn't like the idea when I came in and said I was asexual. Her first reaction was, are you sure you're not just gay? And I'm like, oh, fuck off. Anyway, but yeah, no, they try and push you to socialize as if that's your problem. And I'm like, I mean, you know, now that I've been through enough therapy and I understand I've got a lot of trauma, yeah, maybe I do need more friends, but I need to deal with other issues before I can even get to that stage. So it's like, yeah, not helpful. Anyway, so therapy, even now having schizoid diagnosis, the therapy isn't helping very much because I'm sort of still stuck in the situation that made me like this. Glass child trauma is fun. But also, on top of therapy not really doing much even now. I mean, I'm back with a good therapist, but there's not a lot we can do except try and keep me stable. I can't take medication either because I react badly. You know, it did help me with Rainbow Death Ray. Rainbow Death Ray was my girl band, but I ended up burning out because I had to come off my meds because I was losing too much weight. I ended up on a liquid diet, which is no good because I had no appetite. I could not physically make myself eat, even though I knew I needed to eat. So I was on like Sustagen hospital formula and smoothies, and I got pretty underweight, and being underweight, I get dizzy, and it's just not healthy, and so I had to come off those meds, and then I was over the top with Rainbow Death Ray. Like, yes, it was a band, but I did most of the stuff myself and put too much expectation on myself and ended up burning out. So when my grandparents passed away, I did not cope because I started thinking nihilistic stuff about mortality. Anyway, yeah, it helped me in the start of that band, but then I couldn't. And when they put me on different meds, I just had no energy at all, couldn't keep the band going, and have never quite recovered from that. Anyway, so meds, eventually I just had to stop taking meds altogether because they knock me around, the side effects are so bad, and yeah, the least bad one was me losing my appetite and withering away. So I can't take meds. And then, you know what, there's other stuff like the brain magnets thing, but I would have to go every day for like, I don't know, 2 months, and I just cannot. I don't have the energy to commit to something like that. It's too involved, so I need to get to a stage. I don't even know if it would work either, and Medicare is not great. Anyway, so I'm rambling, but basically, I don't think I'm ever getting better. I can't even work anymore. And I'm struggling to do anything with music. I keep telling myself I should go and get gigs, but unless someone else organizes it for me, it's probably not going to happen because I just don't have the energy to organize events anymore. I did it. No one really appreciated me enough. And then I burned out. Anyway, I won't escape this hell. Yeah, so one of the, you know, back in the day, hell was fire and brimstone. But one of the things that I got told, I think, in primary school was that hell is the absence of God. And so me having those issues with being an atheist, I basically live in hell without it. I mean, I'm sort of over it now. I just have regular existential issues sometimes instead of God-specific ones. But it's still hell because, I mean, there's no one in charge, right? It's why conspiracy theories get going, because people would rather anyone, even an evil entity, be in charge than no one at all. There's no adults in the room, everything's just... Anyway. I'm just so tired of wasting my life chasing heaven, yeah? Trying to make my life better, and it just never gets there. And, you know, like I've said previously in videos, you work towards something. For example, releasing my first ever EP with Rainbow Death Ray, and there was this huge build up and it was such a lot of work, and then we released it, and then my brain was like, cool, now what? And I just didn't get any payoff from it. So it's sort of like, it's hard to keep making music when my brain doesn't feel fulfilled at the end. And like anything I do, my brain just doesn't feel fulfilled. I've got serious anhedonia, might be some problem with dopamine, I've got no idea, but I do things and it feels pointless because something wrong with the reward centers in my brain. Anyway, and then this depression's got me running from the person who could save me from myself. Now, again, I don't know if Noctica is religious. I feel like that it could be a reference to like Jesus, because I know with a lot of those Christian groups are very anti-LGBT, so I imagine that's probably what's going on there, is like maybe Noctica is surrounded by religious people, and I don't know, could be religious. I don't want to assume that she's not. But so the way I interpret it though, depression's got me running from the person who could save me from myself. That dissociated part of me, the other part of me, tries to say, that's me, that's you're running away from me. That part of me is like trying to tell me that my life would be better if I would just let go and let that part of me basically take over. And I can't do that. And then I end up depressed. I mean, this is depression me, I guess. So like there's a bit of a religious theme again, but my brain takes it more as a dissociation thing. Anyway, how cool is this setup, and like the candles and stuff, and the sort of moody sitting on the chair kind of vibe. And I think like some of the posing is quite powerful in the way. Oh my god, the imagery. Like, can we just go over it again? You know that. There's so much going on in that. Like there's the sort of like dramatic hand stuff, and then there's also the like, oh my god, everything's too much kind of a vibe. It's just fun. Yeah. I really like this video. Anyway, I should keep it going. Tell me how I'm supposed to feel. Has me questioning what is real. Okay, I also get derealization, where sometimes like I don't get it as much at the moment, I think, but sometimes like nothing will feel real, and it's a really unsettling feeling. But yeah, how am I supposed to feel? I've seen, how many psychologists and psychiatrists have I seen, and it took long enough to get a proper diagnosis, and now none of them can really guide me very well. Yeah, questioning what's real, also questioning like with the dissociation. So I didn't even used to call it dissociation. I was very resistant to that term because, you know, I had seen DID channels way back and I was just like, that's not me. But then when I try and explain that I feel like I'm not just myself, or like there's another version of me, people are like, that's dissociation. And I'm like, fine, I will use that word. But does that mean that I have to say that this is actually a thing? I've tried to convince myself for ages that I was just making it up, or like it's an imaginary narrative, imaginary friend, a character I wrote that is now stuck in my brain. Like, anyway, moving on. 'Cause I'm killing myself just by living a life that I don't conceal now. Oh, it's such a fun song, like also just musically. Oh my god. And such a good vocalist too. Okay, because I feel like if I speak the words, YouTube might. Because I'm myself just by living a life that I don't conceal. Yeah, do I relate? That might not be as relatable to me. I don't know though, because like I don't even know living a life that I don't conceal. So I think that's probably referencing her transition, you know, coming out late in life. This is all difficult stuff because people will have known you one way and then now getting to know you a different way. I can imagine that being really hard. And maybe some of this is like, you know, it's hard for me to open up about the dissociation stuff because it sounds, I don't know, it sounds stupid. And I think also part of the condition is being uncomfortable about it. Like, it's not something that you're supposed to be comfortable about, dissociation. Like, I'm supposed to hide it. And so, I don't know, maybe I am a little bit like, if I, like, let's say they convince me that I have to do the whole DID thing and sort of openly switch between two different versions of me, and I'm just like, I cannot. So most of the time I guess I hide a lot of what's going on in my head. Like, that's why I've procrastinated this video. Anyway, yeah. But I don't know, like, it was hard just going goth because I was this, like, sweet little Catholic girl, good student, whatever, and then suddenly I start dressing up. I don't even have any tattoos or piercings at all, but people sort of make these assumptions now about, like, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs, I don't sleep around. I basically essentially live sort of the same as I did in that sort of Catholic girl mode, but just changing my appearance sometimes. But I don't know that it's like something that I'm particularly down on. So that's probably like one line that I find a little bit less relatable, but it's also vague, so you can read into it. You know, what's the whole bit? Tell me how I'm supposed to feel. Has me questioning what is real, because I'm myself just by living a life that I don't conceal. Yeah. There's a lot of like struggle. Anyway, there's all this sort of dark, moody. Where did we go back to? Yeah, everything's gotten darker for this part. I really like the composition. And the window, oh my god, the window thing. It's so moody and I really like it. I mean, there have been times where I would just sort of stare out at things. Now I'm a bit addicted to the internet, so that doesn't happen to me as much. But, yeah, I like the imagery a lot. Anyway. And this is now my confession. I won't repent for self-expression. The path that's right is to choose to fight, and depression won't win every second. So some of the rhythmic stuff I don't have down. Man, this is now my confession. I won't repent for self-expression. This is good shit. And the path that's right is to choose to fight, and depression won't win every second. Yeah, I mean, I wish I was this far along. Because, like, every now and then I've sort of gotten through the depression, but it just keeps coming back. A bit of noise out in the hallway, which is distracting, but yeah, no, like, okay, so with the dissociation stuff, I do think that once I started dressing up, started getting more into art and music instead of the maths and science that I was good at in school and was expected to do all the time, and like, you know, parents who are finance people as well, and a family, like, you know, sort of conservative relatives who are all like in pretty good jobs, doctors and lawyers and whatever, and that's sort of where I was expected to go. And even at a young age, my heart was in artistic, creative stuff, and so yeah, I think if I had stuck to, like, the first time I dropped out of uni, I was studying for the maths exam, and I'm just like, this cannot be my life. I will end it if I am supposed to do this for the rest of my life. I don't care if I'm good at it. I hate this. So yeah, I had to sort of express myself, or express parts of myself that had been suppressed and hidden in online forums. Yeah. And honestly, when I let that part of me drive a bit more of my life, like at least sort of, maybe not direct, but inspire where I'm going with my life, I tend to do better. So, like, if you think of depression as a character for me, and depression won't win every second. But see, that other part of me, I did dissociate a bit last night watching Xena. And I don't know why though, because like we had shamanism things. Last night was a full moon as well, like in real life. But that stuff isn't usually a theme for me, so I'm not really sure. But yeah, anyway. So that part of me is a little bit more present in my mind, and that's probably why I have to do this video now before I go back to just purely depressed version of me. But it tries to convince me, yes, this is how you get out of depression, sort of just let go. Can't do it though. Anyway, it's hard to sing along and watch at the same time, but I think we've had more window stuff and like fun. Oops. Oh, the nails! Oh, and there's some interesting stuff as well, because like obviously you've got the more feminine coded character in this, but where was that frame? There's like a flash, and this sort of, some of this jewelry, I don't know, like there's something slightly more masculine in the jewelry, and so like I like this play with different styles, and I like that, you know, you can be feminine but still wear masculine-ish shit, and just fun stuff like that, mixing up the expectations. I don't know, like these days I like androgyny, although I'm trying to grow the front part of my hair for my band because my guitarist likes that, and I don't really have any particular inspiration or like sense of myself anyway, so I'll do what my guitarist's asking for. But no, I guess I consider myself to be gender non-conforming, but in the old school sense of just ignoring gender stereotypes. I think these days some people think gender non-conforming means like a non-binary thing or whatever, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Like, I just don't conform to the stereotype anyway. And so I like mixing of elements, and like anyway, I was just trying to think, do I have something like one of those necklaces, or did I just see one and want it? Anyway, we've got some dark imagery. Choose to fight, and depression won't win every second. Suppression has now become all that I am. Quit saying yes, no. I'm fucking that up, but like there's this fun, so Noctica I think uses like, I think it might be auto-tune a little bit, or I don't know how much, like a sort of a digital sounding thing, but it's like a rap-ish sound, but with a like it's got a melody instead of like just a monotone kind of rap thing. Just don't like people walking around when I'm trying to. This is now my confession. Regret. Where are we up to? Oh, I went back too far. Sorry. Every second, suppression has now become all that I am. Quit saying you know, cause you don't understand. Stop praying to God that he'd come take my hand, cause being myself means I'm already damned. Oh my god. Oh my god. Fun. So, So suppression has now become all that I am. Like, if I'm in denial of a different part of me, suppressing it all the time. And there have been times in my life where it's been a lot harder, like, especially when I was younger. I think before I went on the pill and I had a bit more testosterone in my system, I have a theory that made me a little bit more, because if I forget to take the pill and I've got too much testosterone, I can get a little bit aggro. So, anyway, No, that when I was younger, especially like when you're in your like late teens, early 20s, you go through a lot of identity stuff just naturally. And so you throw on my mental illnesses, and there were just times where it's really hard to just do what I'm supposed to do or whatever. And like my whole high school, by day, the sort of like good Catholic student, and then by night writing my violent stories online. I really had a double life. Anyway, quit saying you know because you don't understand. Oh my god, that's so relatable on the internet. But also the first time I tried to open up about dissociation to my first psychologist, and I told her I don't always feel like me, and she said everyone feels like that straight away, and didn't even dig into why I was raising the issue. And it's the same with when I was asking about schizoid with my second therapist, and she dismissed it but refused to look at why do I think I have it, didn't go through the criteria with me properly. Yeah, and so even these experts, you want to believe they're the experts because they did all the study, but then they don't listen to you, and so how can you really work out what's wrong with you? So yeah, that. And then there's people on YouTube who try and tell me advice like, oh, you should just take this illegal substance and it'll fix you. And I'm like, I can't even handle like a dark hot chocolate. I will get spacey if I have too much dark hot chocolate. So can you imagine me on anything harder? And even with like regular prescribed antidepressants, I was having side effects all over the place. So stop telling me to take your favorite illegal substance just to make you feel better about your choices. Leave me alone. Anyway, stopped praying to God that he'd come take my hand. There's more of this religious stuff. And yeah, I spent ages, like, I remember even, so when I was in primary school, I was already like, I don't think God exists. But I still hoped that he'd prove me wrong and turn up and... But no, it never happened. And then in high school, I spent a lot of time researching other religions, trying to think, well, maybe I'm just in the wrong one. There must be something there. But no, I can't, I have to be, I can't really lie very well. I'm more likely to obfuscate the truth by like changing the subject or sort of talking around it. I can't outright lie. And that includes to myself. I cannot pretend to believe in something if my brain does not accept it. So yeah, I went through that whole thing of wishing that whatever, a god or anything, some kind of spirit, or not even necessarily spirit, even if it was just like some philosophy about life or some cause to fight for, anything to try and give me some guidance in life. And instead, no, nothing has worked. I have found no meaning anywhere. And it's just like, at some point, why do I keep trying? And then, because being myself means I'm already damned. I'm sure in Noctica's case, it's the LGBT versus Christianity thing. For me, if my particular, like, dissociation thing is, like, a sort of dark side and, well, yeah, if I'm that version of me, definitely damned. But also, just being a non-believer, damned. And even if I die and I'm proven wrong, like at the end, I would probably still go to hell because I'd be like, bitch, why did you make my life so terrible instead of fixing it? Like, I will not worship anything that creates a world this terrible. So, yep. And then we're going to have some more, chorus. Because being myself means I'm already damned. Oh, I didn't even sing that bit, sorry. I got too busy talking. It probably doesn't matter. You couldn't watch it, right? It's different, won't win every second. Pressure has now become more that I am. Could say no, because I'm dumb. Where am I? Oh my god. OBS is freaking me out. Suppression has now become more that I am. Quit saying you know cause you don't understand. Stop praying to God that he'd come take my hand. Cause being myself means I'm already damned. I I don't think I'm ever getting better, and I won't escape this hell. I'm just so tired of wasting my life chasing heaven. Depression's got me running from the person who can save me from myself. It's all in my head, tell me I'll be fine, but the truth is I'm scared of the world outside. I'm sick of this lie that I'll be alright when I'm living a life that's not mine. It's all in my head, tell me I'll be fine, but the truth is I'm scared of the world outside. I'm sick of this life that I'll be alright when I'm living a life that's not mine. Sorry, I got a bit carried away. I know I'm supposed to be making the video instead of just like singing along, but it's really hard. This is a problem I have as a vocalist, is if I hear something I like, I have to sing it. And I get carried away and forget what I'm doing. Anyway, no, there's some fun stuff. So this bit, it's all in my head, tell me I'll be fine. But the truth is I'm scared of the world outside. I'm sick of this lie that I'll be alright when I'm living a life that's not mine. It sort of like pulls back all the instruments, which is just like, from a musical perspective, fuck yes. I think there's a lot of bands who don't realise the value of pulling things back. Especially in some forms of metal. People don't know how to chill. But like this is sort of like electronic pop kind of stuff, but you can still hear the metal influences. I like that. I think I'm getting more into, my solo project is electronic, but I'm like from the metal world, and so I like music that combines that kind of stuff. So I think that's why I like Cyrus as well, a bit of industrial metal stuff. Also, like when I did AD Destroyer, that combined a lot of that. Rainbow Death Ray combined a bit of it too. Probably the only band I've been in that didn't do it was Wintergaunt. And my current band, which currently has no name and that I haven't really had a role in for a while because my part as a vocalist is done for now. We're waiting on the instruments. But anyway, yeah, no. Compositionally, this is great stuff. Like, I'm sort of, like, I don't know for sure, but Noctica strikes me as someone who, like, has a natural feel for music, and I'm jealous of that because I just don't. Like, I am that maths and science brain, and music doesn't come naturally to me. That's another reason, like, I don't really get very far, because it's such a struggle all the time, but that's where my heart is, and especially singing. But I can't sing my stuff unless I write it first. But singing other people's stuff, if it's close enough to what I want. But anyway, so it's all in my head. Tell me I'll be fine. And I'm like, oh my God, so much therapy and like having that concern and people telling you stuff. And it's like, I know it's in my head. That doesn't mean I can just magically fix it. I think people assume that everything that goes in your head is all thoughts and like logic, but it's not true. Like, you know that whole thing Ben Shapiro does about like, what is it? Facts don't care about your feelings. Catch is, the reverse is also true. Feelings don't care about facts. So you can tell me that this stuff is all in my head. But if my, mental illness makes me feel a particular way, that's how I'm going to feel. My logic has no power over it. So, his theory can just piss off. Anyway, yeah. But the truth is I'm scared of the world outside. So that's kind of like earlier I was saying is a bit less of a thing. Like a world without human connection. Scared of the world outside. I don't know about scared, but I'm not thrilled with the world outside, but I probably would be scared to show that part of me in a really public way. And so there's like, there used to be videos on my channel of that part of me sort of taking over a bit. Now there's only one, but it's very constructed. So I feel okay with that, but you won't find videos of me in a different mode. And no one has seen me in that state of mind for a very long time. And if I have it my way, they may never see it again. Anyway, so I'm scared of that part of me seeing the world outside, or people from the world outside seeing that part of me. I'm sick of this lie that I'll be alright. Oh my God. Fucking preach. Because people tell you, like, when you've got mental illness, so, like, I don't want to upset anyone. If you haven't had a lot of mental illness and it's your first time being depressed, please don't feel bad about what I'm going to say, because chances are you will be able to recover. But if you're like me and you've had chronic mental illness for like more than 20 years, you get tired of people telling you that it gets better, because I have stuck through it and it has not gotten better. In fact, my life has gotten worse. I can no longer work. I'm struggling to do music. I'm struggling to do art. Had I not got the new dog, I might not bother to be here anymore. Like, part of the reason I got him was to convince myself not to do anything morbid and just try and find anything to keep existing. And even with him, it's still a struggle some days. So yeah, I'm tired of people telling me that things will get better, because I have 20 years. And even before I was like properly depressed, like, now that I look back, I can see parts of my childhood that were definite warning signs, and, you know, just these moments where it was obvious I was going to end up depressed. And so my life has never been great, really. There's a few moments that are better, but mostly everything just sucks. And so people telling me it gets better, please stop. Because there's no evidence in my life that that is going to be the case. I'm just sticking around because, well, trying to exit the world is difficult to do well, and I am scared of messing it up and being stuck in this existence, potentially injured and in pain, and with people hovering over me so that I can't finish the job. So that's why I have not tried, because I haven't figured out how to exit the world yet. So sorry to be morbid, but yeah, people keep telling me things will get better. Where's the proof? And, you know, people also like, oh, if you ever need anything. And I'm like, I need so many things. No one is going to provide me all the things that I need. So it's all talk to me. Yeah. And then when I'm living a life that's not mine, yeah, my life was not meant to be like this. The source of glass child trauma is making some noise there. Anyway, no, like, there's that, but also, so from the depression perspective, the trauma perspective, but also from the dissociation perspective, that part of me is like, yeah, this is not the life you're meant to be living. Trying to give me ideas, and I'm just like, these things are not going to happen, because I'm stuck as depression version of me. Anyway, so yeah, there's so much. And like this pose, I know it's like a sort of a coffin thing, but also like ancient Egypt, which is a thing that I really got into to try and, like, you know, okay, one day I'm going to die and there's no afterlife. So, and I don't plan to ever have kids. I decided at a very young age, because I can't do the disability thing again. I've already lost my life to that. I can't afford to have a disabled kid myself, because I will not cope. And yet I still live with one, so I never really escaped. Anyway, I'm not going to have kids, so what am I leaving behind? And for a while, the ancient Egyptian thing helped me, of like, you leave behind pieces of you, like your ideas, your image, your name, try and preserve stuff, but, you know, it doesn't help me anymore. It helped for a bit. Anyway, I liked it, ancient Egypt, and, you know, some of their ideas about death were kind of interesting. So, yeah, it's probably a minor point. Got more of that, like, lightning flashes. Ah, look at this makeup. Let me find a frame where we get a little bit more of a, oh my gosh, like, I think Noctica does her own makeup for this stuff. And it's just like, I've tried drawing lines on my face and it just does not go, like, I don't have a steady hand. I've also, though, got like the Asian, like half Asian eyes, and so it's kind of hard to find tutorials that make sense for my eye shape, and so I've had to learn that the hard way, realize that the hard way, because I'm just like so out of the loop with makeup. I was determined not to do it for a long time. I think that might be part of like my sort of wanting to be a boy stuff as well, but also it's like, if boys don't have to wear makeup, why should I? But now I can sort of see the artistic side of it, and so now I'm like, oh yes, this is fun. And yeah, I just think it's really, really well done. And like, can you imagine having to, how much practice that would take? Anyway, I really like that. I'm just like, hell yeah. Oh, and those nails. Oh, that is fun stuff. Oh, we got them more of this. And I like also, so we've got this build up. So the first repeat of the is like the quieter version, and I probably did a terrible job of singing what that's like, but it's sort of like softer singing, because I can't really do chest voice in a soft way. If I want to sing like that, it would be more like in my head voice, like, it's all in my head, tell me I'll be fine. But it's tonally very different to what Noctica is doing, you know. So then there's like the first time around, there's a bit of a falsetto, I think, on scared. But the truth is I'm scared of the world outside. If I do that all in head voice, it's not going to sound like that. It's like, it's all in my head, tell me I'll be fine. But the truth is I'm scared of the world. Like, it's the same tone. Of the world outside, I'm sick of this lie that'll be alright when I'm living a life that's not mine. Sorry, I put a bit of decoration on the end. I sing it sometimes when I've been doing art. This is like on my Bandcamp art playlist, and I start sometimes throwing in my own decorations which aren't part of the original artist's thing. Anyway, so I find that hard to sing in chest voice, because that's not naturally, like, I had to learn to sing in chest voice after I learned to sing, because I didn't even know it was a thing. I grew up on a lot of like classical, you know, my grandparents used to play opera at me, and I just never realized that contemporary artists were not singing the way I was singing. Anyway, then the second repeat is like that more starts to get more forceful, and so that the truth is I'm scared is no longer falsetto, it's like full on, like full voice. I really like that dynamic build up. So I'm sorry, this is also a bit of a music nerd breakdown, and my dog is awake because little brother screaming, because this is the life that I live in. It makes me a little bit tense. Anyway, oh, sweetie, I've got a bit more to film, I'm sorry. When I'm living a life that's not mine. Yeah. And then it's, more reflection stuff. And that, this perspective of like looking from, like, you know, I think lying on the floor and looking from above, that's kind of like a confronting way to do it. Also, sometimes when I'm dissociating, but I'm trying not to dissociate, I end up on the floor. At that point, I'm probably not going to come out of it as me. But, yeah, anyway, things that happen when people are not looking. That's... Oh, yeah, and the screaming. I can't do the fry screaming. But, like, it sounds shit on my vocal cords. I have tiny vocal cords. I don't think I will ever be any good at fry screaming. So, I false chord that bit, because that's all I can. And I haven't warmed up, so it probably sounded shit, but I really like that build up. And then also, I think there's like, let me just listen again. I think there's a double vocal going on. Live, life. Yeah. So also in that second repeat, there's a harmony, and I really like that. It like adds an energy. But then there's that life that's not mine. There's like the clean, high clean contemporary sound, and then there's the scream. And so if you're thinking about me and duality, and there's like two voices, I'm like, yes. So like, if I had been born 10 years later, I can see myself doing the whole non-binary they, them thing, but not so much because of the gender neutral stuff, but because then I could convince people to use a sort of plural sounding way to refer to me, and like younger me would be totally into that. Like, yeah, I'm two people, call me a they, them. My reasoning for stuff is like, I realize not how things are supposed to be, and I don't know if that upsets people. I like, one problem with Schizoid Personality Disorder is we can be a little bit unfeeling, cold, emotional, and say stuff that is inappropriate to other people, and we just like don't really care. I'm trying to get better, but yeah, so I don't know if that's disrespectful in any way, but that's just how my brain works. Anyway, back to the chorus. Think I'm never getting better and I won't escape this hell. I'm just so tired of wasting my life chasing heaven. Depression's got me running from the person who can save me from myself. Be-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Ba-da-da-da-do. Ba-da-da-do. Depression's got me running from the person who can save me from myself. Oh, I love the ending as well. Sorry, I got carried away again. But the ending where it's just like all the instruments cut out and then it's just save me from myself in that softer tone. It's so well composed and so well put together. So like, even if you don't give a shit about my issues, about trans issues, whatever, it just compositionally amazing song. Sorry, I keep looking at my dog. Yeah, so you got like more flashes from different parts of the music video, and it sort of really ties it all in together, all the thematics, and there's like this also in the background. Sorry, I went too far. It's like, yeah, ho, ho. There's like a long note. It's hard. There's so much going on that you can miss it. But it's this fun, emotional. Ah, 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 ah. There's fun layers, and like this is a thing that I don't do enough of in my own music. I know for like Rainbow Death Ray I started doing more harmonies and I'm sort of getting there, but he's rolling around, oh my god. Yeah, I'm sort of getting there, but like this is the sort of thing that I would need. Like I'm just like, I should get someone to help me with production, because these are things that don't always occur to me, and like I just listen to it and I'm like, this is good shit. Okay, and some of these hand movements, like, I know, probably watching me see, like, some of the hand movements I do are similar. That's not because I've watched this video too many times, although I have watched it a few times. Triton, don't do it. Here, you want a treat? Treat? You don't know what a treat is yet. You don't know what... Hang on, let me just move this. Na 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 na. Yes, come here. Good boy. See, I go into dog mum mode and I have a dog mum voice. Which, the darker part of me is probably like, oh my god, are you serious? He's so cute. And then I will talk about how I don't feel like I have such a strong connection to him, but the evidence would suggest otherwise, surely. Yes, sweetie? Don't be causing trouble, otherwise I'm gonna have to pick you up and sit you on my lap and finish the video with you on my lap. Anyway, oh, what's he doing? It's so distracting. I might just grab him. Hang on. As soon as I was about to go pick him up, he just sat down and started to be polite. Maybe because he knew what I was about to do. There you go. What was I talking about? This is probably, I lost my train of thought. Oh, the hand movements thing. Yeah, no, I think because, like, emotionally, maybe I'm sort of in a similar place to what Noctica was thinking, or maybe not thinking, but feeling at the time. And so, like, I noticed some of my hand movements just naturally gravitate towards that, and I quite like that. Yeah. Okay. But yeah. This fun stuff. No, like, this one is sort of like things going on in your head and trying to deal with stuff in your head. What are you doing? I'm going to have to pick you up, babe. Oh man, I accidentally pressed stop instead of pause. Now I'm gonna have to edit this video together, but he's on my bed now. Have that. Uh-oh, yeah, get it. Damn, I was hoping to like just OBS the whole thing and not put it in my editing program, but oh well! Anyway, it's gonna be a long video. What was I talking about? I don't even know. My love chasing heaven. Things going on in your head. Person who can... The reach out. The reach out, I don't want to talk about. Just like what that makes me feel. Oh my god, and I think I recognize... Do I recognize the jacket or like the fabric? What? Okay, so some of these head movements as well seem very familiar to me. And I'm sure it's like, excuse me, hop down. I know, we'll go out soon, but you really should be napping more. Come here, come here. No, and he's like, I don't want to come here, I will sit on your bed. Good, stay there. Yeah, no, some of the looking in the mirror stuff. I'm pretty weird when no one's watching. I don't know if other people are like that, and I know Noctica, a lot of this is probably just acting, but hey, back up! This is also like trying to discipline my dog version of me. Get it! Where is it? Look! Get it! I know this video is too long and it's getting harder to concentrate, but this is my life now. This is why I put off trying to make this video for so long, because I knew it would go like this. The bed stuff, and I know we're gonna get to the end, but oh no, it's at least I can edit that out now. Alright, sorry, it was giving me an ad because it's taken me so long to do all this. But so like there's this stuff. Me running from the person who saved me from myself. Okay, so that ends in the mirror in standard version, but no, like with the bed stuff. And like, you know, at the beginning, waking up from bed, but no. Okay, so the thought that I'm having is something like, you know, with the dissociation, lately it mostly happens at night for me, and so going to bed is how I reset my brain. Now, doesn't always work. This morning I still woke up with some of the dissociation going on, and sometimes it can be very distracting. Yes. But so if we've got the two different versions of Noctica, like there's some relatability in that. I don't know if I'm explaining very well how some of this goes. It's just like, yeah, sleep is a reset for my brain. It also, like for depression, if I'm having a really bad night, the best thing I can do is try and get to bed. It's hard though, because like if you're crying and your nose is all snotty, like how do you, like you can't physically breathe, so I have to get up and blow my nose a lot, or bring the bin over and bring the tissues in reach, and then hope that I will soon be able to breathe and then just fall asleep, and then hopefully not feel so terrible. He's really trying to get me out of YouTube mode and just be dog mom mode. Excuse you. Get him. Anyway, this video is such a shambles because I'm a shambles. Hey, come on. Instead of walking away from the mirror. Oh, try not to look back at the mirror kind of thing. Hey, here, babe. Anyway, so, like, that's my terrible, disjointed attempt at a deep dive into, like, why I like this song so much. And sorry, I'm just getting a little bit obsessive about trying to center that again. Excuse me, Mr. Triton. Mr. Triton. He's getting he's getting a bit too big for this. Yes, sweetie, good boy. Kiss, kiss. Yes, you're getting better at doing the kiss, kiss. Yeah, no, there's a lot that I like about it. Like, musically, I think it's really good. And so regardless of whether you're into, like, the trans stuff or psychology or whatever, I think just compositionally, this is some really good music. And, you know, I've given you my interpretation of, like, the lyrics and the things going on in the video. I know it's disjointed, so, you know, I could probably write an essay on this whole video, honestly. And this is, like, one of the longest videos I've done in a while. But yeah, so I think if you look at the lyrics, and if you have been through, like, basically anything where you've doubted yourself, and a lot of people have, you could relate to this. You don't need any gender issues. The depression stuff in particular, like, that's not just a gender dysphoria thing. Yeah, you trying to be my antidepressant. Oh, look, you are such a teddy bear, aren't you? Oh my goodness. And then, yeah, there's just a lot. Like, my interpretation of some of the social stuff in the song as well, very different because of my quirks, and most people are not as weird as me. So I think there's a lot of applicability to different people's situations, and that's what I really like about this. And I think trauma is the other one that I looked at more closely, and I think that one didn't feel specifically trans either. So I think sometimes, like, if you are explicit, so when I was making my asexuality EP, I did research ace music, and honestly, a lot of it is terrible. And one of the reasons it's terrible, apart from them not exactly being the best musicians, but, like, compositionally, they're trying to be too in your face with the ace stuff. Like, one of them was called something about, like, being asexy, and I'm like, why are you trying to use that language for one thing? Because, like, you're trying to bring sexiness to asexuality? What kind of bullshit is that? And also, by specifying asexuality, you're not speaking to anyone else. You're only speaking to yourself, and I don't know, I'm just not into that. So I made mine hopefully more applicable. People can read whatever they want into it, but if you are asexual, it's asexual music. So, you know, and so it's sort of like with Noctica, like, there is, I know, it's like, I don't want to be held like this. Yes. You know, there's plenty that you can read into it, your own stuff, especially if you've had any sense of self-doubt and trying to be yourself. Oh, I think there's a delay in my camera now. Anyway, you are making this very difficult. It's distracting. It makes me talk for even longer, because then I forget what I'm talking about. You have not napped enough today, have you? Have you? I know, we'll get up in a moment. Anyway, so anyone can read what they want into that. But also, if you are trans or have, like, the sort of mild gender dysphoria that I had as well, then you have something that is more specifically for you, but without excluding everyone else. I like that stuff. And then just this happens to have a lot of stuff that's very easy to read into my various issues, mainly depression and dissociation. Not so much schizoid, but schizoid's like, how would you... Oh no, I'm going to set myself a challenge, am I? How would I write a schizoid song? Oh, I don't want to be doing that, but that would be kind of an interesting challenge. Like, I did, before doing the asexuality thing, I was like, how do you make asexual art without referencing exactly what you're not into? And so that was kind of a challenge that sort of eventually led to me doing it as a music thing rather than an art thing. Oh, you're really trying to steal the show, aren't you? Alright, well, I think I've rambled for long enough, but, like, you get the idea. Those are the things that I found. Look, he's nibbling me. I know. How dare I? How dare I keep doing my own thing instead of spending all my time with you? Anyway, deep dive. Noctica, Savior, My Psychology, and featuring this little one, this troublemaker who does not want to nap, despite having been to the beach for the first time in his life earlier today. Is it time for you? Time for me to make my life about you again? Okay. Alright. Yeah, I'm sorry this video was disjointed, but I just had to do it like any way that I could to make it happen at all. I did want it to be better quality, but then it wouldn't have happened, would it? How long have I been procrastinating? So yeah, once again, if I've set it up right, not that one, this one. You giving me kisses to try and convince me to stop being like this. But yeah, pre-order. You have until August 10th, I think, but I think there's some that have a limited number of prints. This one will get made later as well, so it won't ship, I think, until September. But like, this is fun stuff. Like, have a read through it. This is creative merch, and so I'm like, yeah, I am going to I am going for it. Yes, I like that. Yeah. Yeah, so if you're into it, order that before it's gone. Now, as for shows, Noctica has their launches on August 3rd in Tamworth, which I'm nowhere near. They are playing a gig, I think, like, on Saturday, but it's kind of awkward timing for me and family stuff, so I don't know if I'll be able to make it. And I gotta worry about I don't trust my parents with you all the time. So I don't know if I'll be able to go. I've still gotta figure out whether that's feasible, but like there's early morning stuff that I might have to deal with the next day, so. But then I think maybe later in August or in September there's another show in Sydney. So cross fingers. Yeah, maybe by then you'll have grown up a bit more and I can trust you a bit more to not cause too much trouble. And also, hopefully, there won't be awkward family stuff going on at the time. Awkwardly timed family stuff. Like, end the video. Stop being like this. Stop continuing to ramble when the video should end. I'm sorry, that's just how I do things. Yes. Yes, and now I've got to edit it. I wouldn't have had to edit it if you hadn't distracted me. He's finally quiet. Alright, I'm just gonna go before I... Bye! There is no outro, it's just me going, bye! Oh, good job me getting this video done. It's always a little bit scary talking about some of this stuff, but maybe I was vague enough that it's okay.